Are we good? Okay. You just took my Kleenex and you know I'm going to need that. Okay. I am the crier of the ministry, so I'm just not even going to lie. I'm probably going to need this Kleenex. I'm going to try really hard not to. I'm going to try really hard not to ugly cry. But if I do, you have to promise not to hold it against me, okay? Okay. That was fun, wasn't it? Okay. This is kind of confession time for me, and I would almost like to be anywhere but talking to you right now. So, because I stand before you this morning, still morning, as a broken woman. I have no brilliant words to share with you that will ever change the way you look at addiction. I don't have a one-size-fits-all solution for whatever demons you face. I don't have how to break all your problems in 3 easy steps, and this is how you do it. And believe me when I say I wish any of those things were true. Instead, I stand before you as a woman who is in the thick of it and on an extremely personal journey to overcome something that has followed me really for as long as I can remember. I wish I could tell you that I had completed my journey. Although if I'm honest with myself, I realize that this is a road that I'm going to be walking for as long as there's breath in my lungs. I wish I could tell you that I thought maybe I was almost to the point where I kind of knew what my new reality was going to look like, but I can't even tell you that. The truth is that this journey is really just beginning for me, and that's a very precarious place to be. We actually first discussed a conference on temptation in 2011, and at that time I had no idea what I would offer to the subject of temptation or addiction or anything along those lines. And then God took the ministry in a different direction, and in 2012 we actually didn't hold a community event, so I didn't have to worry about it. And then we received a call and were given the opportunity to be here with you ladies this morning. And I knew I was in trouble again. And then my sister and I were talking about what today would look like. And we were talking about what I would speak on. And we came up with a brilliant idea. And it was a subject I'm passionate about and I'm excited about. And it was kind of a different take on the subject. And I was ready to go. And then, just a few weeks ago, actually, we had another conversation about who we were going to get to give today's testimony. Because we believe that it's really important to just put real people up here in front of you who have struggled and who have battled, and to just be really honest with you about what they've been through as an encouragement. But we didn't have any ideas as to who to invite, who was supposed to be speaking. And then a stroke of genius hit me, as sometimes does, and I told my sister exactly the kind of testimony I thought we needed. And the problem was we were both still drawing a blank. And then God spoke to me in my spirit in a way only He can, and I believe the next words out of my mouth were, "Oh crap. I think it might be me." So here I am, gonna try really hard to get through this for you. See, I'm not an alcoholic, so I can't tell you when I had my first blackout. I can't tell you when I realized that my relationship with alcohol was forever changed. I'm not a drug addict, so I can't tell you the day I took my first hit and got high. I can't tell you the time I shot up when I realized that drugs took me to this place that felt so good, and when I realized that was a problem. I'm not a compulsive gambler, so I can't tell you when I realized the thrill behind risk-taking, because I am none of those things. In fact, there was a time when I would tell you that I really had a hard time relating to people with addictions because I didn't have an addictive personality. Lucky me. I grew up in a stable home. I had a happy childhood. I wasn't abused or neglected. Our parents didn't give us everything we wanted, but we really didn't want for anything either. I can't look back and pinpoint some dramatic occurrence or childhood trauma that set me up to walk this path that I only now realize that I travel. Although my life's been peppered with some amazingly, excitingly high ups and some really hard, tragically low downs, just as everybody's life has, when I look back at the past 35 years, I can say that I've lived a pretty comfortable existence. And yet here I am, admitting to you that I am broken. About to admit something, not going to do it, that I've only admitted to myself very recently, and that is that I have a problem with food. I don't have a name for it. I was trying to kind of explain it, and I couldn't even really find words to coherently express to you what I think it is. All I know is that I have issues with food. And why is food an issue for me? It's a really good question, and all I can tell you is that I know it's an issue for me because I don't control my food, and in a lot of ways, my food kind of controls me. And you see, that's where the problem comes in, because really anything that has any kind of control over us has the ability to put a wedge between us and God. The first of the 10 Commandments given to Moses was, "You shall have no other gods before me." And if we're honest, and I mean like brutally, painfully honest, I think we have to admit that anything that has control over us has become a god of sorts to us. And for me, that's food. Food issues can manifest themselves in a variety of ways. They hit people, men and women, in all shapes and sizes. You don't have to look a certain way to have a problem with food. Some people, it hits in anorexia or bulimia. Me, it's just really a lack of control, which is a painful thing for me to stand up here before all of you people and say. Now, as I said, I have no idea when this started or how it started for me. I wasn't born chubby. I wasn't a chubby kid. When I look back at pictures of myself when I was little, I was perfectly average. And then in elementary school, at some point that started to change, and I've struggled with my weight ever since that time. I lived my teenage years, my college years, and most of my young adult life thinking that I just needed to lose some weight. I wanted to do it to be healthy. I wanted to do it to look good. I wanted to do it to feel better about myself. And so I tried over and over and over again. And I'm one of those people who has been on just about every diet there is out there. I've tried everything I could think. And I've even had some great success a few times. When my son was born 10 years ago, I decided to join a popular weight loss program. Was really on it, stuck to it, did good, and dropped about 50 pounds in less than a year, which was amazing, and I was excited, and I felt good. And then there came a point in this program where I hit this wall. And I knew I'd hit a wall, even when it happened. And I just couldn't get over it or through it or around it. And I stopped caring. I stopped caring about the weight loss and the program. And over time, I gained back every single pound that I had fought so very hard to lose. Part of me lost hope after that. I've never been happy being overweight, but there was also this part of me that just kind of came to accept it. And I just figured it was my lot in life to be the fat one. Life went on, and then in 2011, my parents announced that they wanted to take the whole family to Disney World for Christmas. And we were over the moon excited, as you can imagine. And my husband and I talked about it and decided, in 2011, my parents announced that they wanted to take the whole family to Disney World for Christmas. And we were over the moon excited, as you can imagine. And my husband and I talked about it and decided, wouldn't it be great if we could lose some weight before the trip? It would make for a fun trip, we'd get around better, we'd be more comfortable, and we'd look good in Florida. And about that time, I got an email for a Groupon for a physician-led weight loss clinic. And so we thought, it's only money. What do we have to lose, right? So we signed up, and in 8 weeks, I dropped 40 pounds. And I felt amazing. And I'm not going to lie, it was hard. It was a brutal program where I was on an extremely low-calorie diet, supplemented by company products, and it was hard, hard, hard. But the results were so amazing, and I was so excited about it that I signed back up after the first of the year and went on an extended program and went on to lose 25 more pounds. And for the first time, sorry. When I looked at the scale, yes, he told you. And it's happening sooner than I thought, so there you go. I saw a number that was really close to the number on my driver's license. So you all know. For the first time since college, I've been out of college for a few years, so it was an exciting day, and I called my husband and I told him. Oh, there goes the ugly cry. And the gasping for breath. I wasn't prepared for that. I swore to myself that day that was the end of it for me. I packed away my fat pants, and I was never going to wear them again. I swore that I'd never gain the weight back. Oh, it's a really ugly cry. And at that time, when I would look back at pictures of myself at my heaviest, I was just disgusted with myself, and I'd show people, oh my gosh, can you believe I was this big once? I will never look like that again. And yet, I stand before you 50 pounds heavier today than I was on that day. So what happened? You know, I wish I knew. I suppose life happened. Last summer, my husband and I bought a house, and we moved across town. And so I called the weight loss clinic, and I told them that I had to kind of put my program on hold. I was moving, and there was just no way that with the stress of moving and not having my kitchen unpacked that I could stick to such a strict diet. I needed some time to settle, and then I'd be back. And that was last June, and I haven't stepped foot there since. I maintained for a while, several months actually, and I was amazed that I was able to keep the weight off. And I thought, clearly my body has figured this out. And I must just be processing food differently. And wasn't that amazing? And then I noticed one day that I'd gained back a couple of pounds. But that was okay, because everybody's weight fluctuates, right? I told myself that once we'd moved into the house and we were all settled, I was going to start eating healthy again, and I was going to drop that last 40 pounds on my own. I didn't need help. I could do it myself. And I was going to finally be at my goal weight. And then before long, I'd gained back 10 pounds. But the number on the scale was still nothing I couldn't live with. And I could still fit into those size 14 capris that I bought for Disney. And for a girl who hasn't shopped outside of the plus size section since college, That was an accomplishment for me, and I was okay with that. And then winter hit, and I stuffed those capris in the bottom of a drawer. A few minutes later, I noticed that the jeans that only a few months earlier were swimming on me now fit just right. Not long after that, when I buttoned them, I discovered that dreaded muffin top. And I realized that the jeans that I had had to cinch a belt around so tight to keep them from literally sliding off my body were too small. I lied to myself for a very long time. And I told myself that I'd only gained back a few pounds, surely not everything that I'd lost or even close to anything that I had lost. And even when I looked on the numbers on the scale, I still somehow managed to fool myself that they weren't telling me the truth. And certainly, nobody else noticed. Surely the world couldn't see that I had put back on the weight. And then a day came when my bubble just burst, and I couldn't lie to myself anymore, because someone I knew very casually, but who knew who I was, approached me and said, "Are you Joy? You know, I thought I recognized you, but I didn't quite. You've gained a little weight, haven't you?" And those words, they hit pretty hard, and they cut me like a knife. And I smiled as best I could, and yeah, I have put on a little weight, and then I dismissed myself as quickly as I could from the room, because that was a really hard pill to swallow, because it was that moment that I knew that the world knew. But interestingly enough, it was on that very same day, listening to my sister give a message, of all people, that God spoke to me in a way that rocked my world. And it was the first time that I realized what my problem was and what my problem wasn't. See, all my attempts to lose weight have come from a place of frustration where I've just reached my breaking point and said, "This is ridiculous. I'm going to do it." And I determined to make a change, and I did, sometimes with great success. And yet, ultimately, even my most diligent, hardest efforts have all ended in just miserable failure. Why? It had nothing to do with my willpower or lack thereof, although that's something that I struggle with. It was something much deeper than that. And I realized that I failed because I attempted to lose the weight of my own power, and I can't do it in my own power. Over the past few months, I say months, but it's really more like weeks if I'm honest, I've really struggled with what it looks like to gain control in God's power. You know what I've learned? It doesn't look like gaining control at all. Who knew? Instead, what I've come to realize, and this is something that God has revealed to me just in the last week, is this battle that I have fought for so many years has nothing to do with my weight. Yes, the weight is a result of my sin, and I call it a sin because I know I have not been walking in God's will in this area of my life. But the issue is not my weight. The weight is merely a consequence for me. The issue is my relationship with food, and it's how I treat food, how I view it, and how I abuse it. And that's what I need to surrender. So today I stand before you revealing this very open, very fresh, very painful wound, because that's where I am in life, plain and simple. I'm learning to surrender my relationship with food to God, and that is a really, really hard thing to do. You know, if I were an alcoholic, I could stop drinking. If I were a drug addict, I could give up my drug of choice. If I were a compulsive gambler, I could swear off gambling. But I can't stop eating. So instead, I'm left trying to figure out what a normal relationship with food looks like. And I have no idea, because the truth is I haven't even fully figured out what my unhealthy relationship with food looked like. But what I do know is I have finally come to a place where I've surrendered it to God, and I know that is the first step. And from here on out, it is a day-by-day experience for me. It's a learning experience. Will I stumble? Yup. Will there be days where I want to give up? Probably. But through prayer, I know I will persevere, because the truth is I am tired. I'm tired of carrying the burden. And I'm tired of the crippling effect it's had on my life, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I have the reassurance that on those days when I can't muster the strength, I know that my God will provide me the strength I need. In Isaiah 41:10, we're told, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." And before I close, I actually have a video I want to share with you, because I think it's really going to help drive home what I hope to leave you with here today. So my question for you today is, what's your marshmallow? Because today you walked through the doors with one. Each of us has a different one. They all look different. My marshmallow, appropriately enough, is food. Today God is asking you to leave your marshmallow on the table and to wait for him. He wants you to give up the pleasure of enjoying that one single marshmallow, because he has something much bigger and better to give you. But you have to be obedient to him to receive the gift. For me, maybe it's the weight loss that I have wanted my entire life. Maybe it's finally feeling comfortable in my own skin. Maybe it's realizing that I'm beautiful no matter what the world around me says. Maybe it's none of those things. And maybe it's all of them and much more. The fact is, I have no idea, because I'm still waiting. I'm still learning how to wait. I am still surrendering my relationship with food to him and pressing in on a daily, sometimes hourly basis for the strength not to shove that entire marshmallow in my mouth. And I mean both literally and figuratively. But despite the urge to cave, I don't, because I know that he's waiting on the other side of that door, reward in hand. He's waiting and he's watching, wanting me to lean on him for the strength to make it through another day. And so that's what I do. Matthew 11:28-30. Jesus tells us, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Friends, you don't have to carry the burden on your own. Jesus will do the heavy lifting for you if you just let him. I've come to the realization that I can't do it on my own. And you know what? Neither can you. So what's your marshmallow? And more importantly, are you willing to leave it on the plate and travel the path to freedom in order to receive your reward? God is beckoning you today, here, now, to begin the journey. And you know what? The first step is the easiest, because all you have to do is surrender.